All right, what's up, boxing fans? It's Aztec 101 in the ring. Let's talk about Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia had a good weekend. Knocked out Brandon Rios. That shit was fun to watch. It was a really good fight. Brandon Rios, even though he was counted out before the fight even started, he put on a good show. You gotta admit it. Made the fight really competitive, and Danny Garcia was able to take advantage of a very lousy fucking jab. Just like Brandon Rios said, a rookie mistake, got countered, and Danny Garcia he's showing that he still has power. His power was being questioned since he moved up to 147, and that was honestly he needed something like this. He needed a knockout. One thing that's obvious, just like Keith Thurman, there's a lot of people looking at Danny Garcia and they want to fight with him. He also has options. I want to talk about what Danny Garcia, this is all speculation, but what I think he's doing and why I think it's a mistake. Like I said, this is all speculation, but just based on the moves he's making and the way he's talking and responding to media, it seems like he has his eye on Keith Thurman, and for good reason. Like I said, a lot of people are looking at Keith Thurman. A lot of fighters are right now targeting Keith Thurman, and that's because he has 2 titles. Danny Garcia was in the ring with him, and he wants the rematch, but I think what's most important is that there's 2 titles on the line, right? Danny Garcia is making it clear that that's the fight that he wants. Sean Porter was there, rushed the ring and after the fight and approached Danny Garcia. So that seems like a fight that could happen. Most likely will happen. This seems planned. There's no coincidence that they're, in front of each other at the end of the fight. Seems like promotion, good promotion. So that could be a fight that's going to happen in the near future. But in the background, you also have Errol Spence. Errol Spence is telling Danny Garcia that if he wins this fight, seems like he's pretty much giving him an open invitation for a title fight, for the IBF title. And what I think Danny Garcia is doing is he knows that he's the top draw out of Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, and Sean Porter. Right? Just based on those fighters, Danny Garcia is the top draw. But he's not a title holder. So what I think he's doing is using his name as leverage, right? But trying to get that quick one-way ticket to Keith Thurman, and he has a shot because Keith Thurman, we already know, is going to take a few tune-up fights before he fights Errol Spence, right? Danny Garcia is trying to get the rematch. Problem is, the way boxing fans view this is completely different than the way Danny views this. Boxing fans do not give a fuck about Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman 2. They don't want to see the rematch. Right now, the fight they want to see is Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. That's the obvious fight. So, I think Danny Garcia could be making a huge mistake and missing an opportunity to not just get what he wants, but do more, right? Do more than what he's actually trying to do. And this is what I mean by that. I mean, if Errol Spence is inviting him to fight, most likely it'll be a title fight. He can fight for the IBF title, right? If Danny Garcia feels that he's, as good as he is, Why not take that opportunity? Right now, no one gives a fuck about Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman. The fight that they want to see is Errol Spence. Errol Spence right now is the fight that is, he's the boogeyman in the division, right? So, Danny Garcia, in my opinion, if he ends up taking the Errol Spence fight, that's a huge opportunity to do three things. You get to shut down the people that have been saying that you're ducking, that you're Danny gifts Garcia. All the boxing fans that say you're scared, you can show them you're not by fighting Errol Spence. That's one. Two, you get to fight for the IBF title. Three, whoever's holding that IBF title will fight Keith Thurman. Period. Whoever's holding that title will fight Keith Thurman. So that's a huge opportunity for Danny Garcia to get what he wants and be able to do even more than that by, also shutting down his naysayers and proving that he's not scared. He's not scared of a tough fight, because going in there, even if he accepts the fight, let's be honest, right? At this very moment, with Keith Thurman being inactive, at this very moment, who's hot? It's Errol Spence, right? Who's the boogeyman? Errol Spence. Just taking the fight with Errol Spence, just accepting the fight, all eyes are going to be on you. And you'll earn the respect of being the guy that came out and risked getting to the ring with Errol Spence, right? To me, in my opinion, I think that should be an obvious choice. Making the Danny Garcia versus... If I was on Danny's team, I would say, fight Errol Spence. Fight Errol Spence. Because if you can't beat Errol Spence now, you won't be able to beat him after you fight Keith Thurman. Even if you beat Keith Thurman and you hold those two titles, you're going to have to fight Errol Spence. And this whole eventually thing, Danny Garcia says he'll fight him eventually. That's bullshit. Not bullshit for the fans, but that's bullshit as in it's not that you have to fight him now, it's that the opportunity's right. Like, this is where you're gonna earn the most for fighting Keith Thurman. I mean, for fighting Errol Spence. Like, Errol Spence is never gonna be more valuable to you than right now. He has a title, the IBF title, a necessary component in becoming unified, undisputed champion. You have a bargaining chip in not just being a title holder, but you're also one of the more popular fighters in the division. Going up, I mean, Keith Thurman won't be able to avoid you, but you asking for a fight that the fans don't want to see right now, is you're never gonna get the fight. Let's be honest. Like, people aren't gonna like that Keith Thurman fights Danny Garcia. That's gonna be a bullshit fight. And what's your other option? Fighting Sean Porter? That's a dangerous fight anyways for you. And if you end up fighting Sean Porter and losing, I mean, to be honest, you're not going to get the same recognition if you took a shot and tried fighting Errol Spence. To me, that just makes sense. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm just kind of ranting out loud, but I feel like Danny Garcia is in a position where it's make it or break it. This is not going to repeat itself. This situation at welterweight isn't going to repeat itself. It's the way it is right now, and he can take advantage of it. Because Danny Garcia, man, I'm excited for his next fight. I can't wait to find out who he's going to fight. But based on how he's chosen fights before, how he's picked his opponents, I don't know, I'm skeptical. Right? There's an open lane. Errol Spence just got done with Lamont Peterson. He just got done with Lamont Peterson. This is perfect. What do you guys think? Are you guys cool with Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence? You say he would never... look, I don't think he'd do it. Honestly, I don't think he'd do it. I don't think he's that confident in himself to do it. I don't think he's that hungry. I don't think he's hungry enough to do what he has to do. I think he's going to sit back. He's going to take a fight with Sean Porter, and it's going to be a big mistake. This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.